Having only played vanilla Skyrim all these years, over the last few months I went deep into a Skyrim modding rabbit hole. And what an eye-opening and enjoyable ride it has been. My mind is blown. My goal was to install mods that enhance role-playing, adds to the dynamism of the game world, include load-friendly content, add a ton of immersion, throw in some high-quality quest mods, and overhaul the visuals for a modern Skyrim RPG experience. Also, I wanted to understand each and every mod that goes into my load order before installing them. I'm not a fan of those one-click installers that dump hundreds of mods into your system. It works for some people, not for me. If I don't know what a mod is bringing to the table, then I won't install it. If you are like me, then you will enjoy this video where I will talk about mods that will enhance your Skyrim playthrough in 2024 and beyond. I'll also talk about some incredible mod authors and a wonderful community of people who love Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls. Having such an incredible community will make Skyrim an eternal install on my gaming PC. Thank you all of you. Do note, this list is mainly for a mage player, but you can adapt it to a thief or warrior or whatever class you prefer by installing or awarding certain mods. Also, there are hundreds of guides on how to get started on Skyrim modding and how to install mods. I will link one such video if you are an absolute beginner or you want to do everything from scratch. Once you watch that one, come back here and watch this video for all the role-playing and load-friendly goodness. Of course, Skyrim modding is extremely popular. Many of you will be way better than me at this. If you have done a lot of modding, do share your experience or recommendations in the comments below for me and for beginners so all of us can learn. With that out of the way, let's get started then, shall we? Let's face it, Skyrim is barely an RPG, with the removal of attributes, lack of options to specialize during character creation, and barely any recognition of player choice or player action. In Skyrim, you can be all classes at once. This means that your character is already defined for you as someone that can do anything at any time with no limitations. When the only role in the role-playing game is being a demigod that is great at everything, you are just doing power fantasy wish fulfillment at that point. This is fine in action games, but it is really out of place in RPGs. I will link an excellent video by Tim Kaine, the creator of Fallout, which I shared in our Discord on what makes a great RPG. Highly recommended watching. In this guide, we will add mods that will increase your ability to create unique characters and builds for role-playing. We will also add mods that will get the world to recognize your actions. The huge limiting factor is the lack of Morrowind and Oblivion style attributes, with only health, magicka and stamina being the core attributes in Skyrim. But we will try our best. Once you install these mods and play for some time, you really begin to see how Skyrim has changed, and when that happens, it's a beautiful thing. The first mod we will install is to enhance character creation. No, I'm not talking about how a character appears. That is not relevant to any RPG. Unfortunately, 99% of character creation in Skyrim is about your character's appearance. In Skyrim, you select a race and then you move on to appearance. That is unacceptable. Let's fix that. So Classic Classes and Birth Signs SSE Reimagined is a mod that enables players to select a class, choose a character's birth sign, choose an ability based on your class, and choose 6 major skills. All of this allows the player to better conceptualize their character as well as provide a different starting experience for each new game played. Click on the Mod Manager download button for the main file. Always use the Mod Manager and install mods. The mod also has some optional downloads with one option for lower skills that starts all skills at 5. There's another option called Racial Leveling add-on, which boosts starter skills and works well with the racial mod we choose next. And another option called Set AV Scripts is recommended. It sets skills you pick to plus 20 rather than a higher number. Get the Racial Leveling add-on and the Set AV Scripts add-on. And if you like way lower skills, get the lower skills add-on too. Okay, the second mod is called Aetherius, a race overhaul. This is from Simon Magus, a well-known modder who has made lots of overhauls for Skyrim. The reason I chose this is because classic classes and birth signs has a patch for this mod and they work well together. Okay, what does this mod do? This overhauls Skyrim's human, elf and beast races and their associated skills. So every race has a major, minor skills and a passive racial ability. For example, if you play as a Briton, you can see that your magic resistance is increased by 25% and you have a 10% chance to absorb magicka from incoming spells. If you play as a Dunmer, your fire resistance is increased by 50% and your spells and enchantments cost 10% less. The nature of these bonuses allow for a broad range of builds and thus aids roleplaying. The third mod is called Andromeda, Unique Standing Stones of Skyrim. This is from Ni Sion, another well-known modder who has made a lot of overhaul mods for Skyrim. This mod replaces the vanilla standing stone effects by offering 2 abilities per stone, and also if we discover all the standing stones, we get a unique power. This enables you to create many character builds which aid role-playing. For example, let's look at the abilities of the Atronach stone. There are 2 abilities. You can pause and read the screen. The main thing here is magicka does not regenerate, and the stone offers very interesting ways of getting magicka back. So you can essentially play like Morrowind, right? Where magicka does not regenerate. You'll need to modify your playstyle to stock up on potions and use the abilities. This makes things very interesting. Do check out the abilities of each standing stone in the mod page and see what fits your playstyle. Winter Sun. This mod is also created by Ni Sion and is one of my favorite mods ever. This mod adds religion and worship to Skyrim. In this mod, you choose a deity. There are 50 choices and some of them depend on your race. You can then pray at any location and worship at shrines. However, this increases the favor with the deity. You gain a basic ability for following your deity and a more powerful devotee ability when your favor is high. Let's look at one example. So every time you go to a shrine of Julianos, you get a magicka boost by 25 points. And as you keep following Julianos, your spell cost keeps reducing. At one stage, after you become a devotee, you get another ability. You can worship a Daedric prince, you can choose an elven ancestor like Auriel or Magnus or Finaster from the Somerset Islands. You can also choose to worship the Yokudan Pantheon for the Red Guards or the Khajiit Pantheon. An amazing mod that really enhances your character build, aids in role-playing and adds so much to the game world. Thank you so much, Mr. Ni. Next, Skyrim Reputation. This titan among mods has to remain in your lore order for any role-playing build. Skyrim Reputation introduces a reputation mechanic to make you treated as a hero or a villain. The game tracks everything you do and logs them in the statistics section of the MCM menu. It also creates a reputation morality score for your character based on the quests you complete, the choices you make, and your actions throughout your playthrough. The mod also changes the greetings of NPCs based on your reputation. So if you're a thief, people will talk about it. Also, faction quest lines are also updated so that the courier sends interesting letters from faction members based on what you do. I love this aspect. It adds so much to the questing when the world recognizes what you do. This mod also adds expulsion quests. For example, if you're in the Thieves Guild and you do a lot of killing or progress in the Companions Guild, you may get expelled. Read through the details of the mod page and you'll get a fair idea. And don't forget to install Skyrim Reputation Fixed and Patched and Skyrim Reputation Improved. These patches fixes issues, improve certain aspects of the reputation system. Next is Ordinator, Perks of Skyrim. This mod overhauls the perk trees of Skyrim to increase the depth of character building. What I like about this mod is that there are different paths in skill trees that support different playstyles, and this can lead to creating super specialized builds. Ordinator really shines when you play as a highly specialized build where you max out few perk lines, maybe 3 or 4 perk lines, and take some utility perks in other trees. An honorable mention goes to Adamant by Simon Magus. Check out both the mods and see which suits you. I chose Ordinator. Alternate Start Live Another Life. This provides an alternative means to start the game for those who do not wish to go through the lengthy intro sequence at Helgen. Essentially, you will have a peaceful starting location where you can actually go over the new character creation options and actually create your character. Very useful for a role-playing game. At your own pace. Remember how in Morrowind, at the start of the game, you are dropped off at Sidanin and you had to figure out everything on your own? The game never spoke to you again and again about doing the main quest. This was a big problem in Oblivion and in Skyrim. This mod keeps you in charge by offering players a break between quests and let you start the main or faction quests when you want to. This mod also changes the faction quests, so if you're a mage and hardly do any thievery, you won't be bothered by the Thieves Guild, and so on. This mod is also very useful for players who never play as a Dragonborn, like me. Skyrim character sheet. Skyrim at last gets a character screen. In one screen, you can see all the important stats of your character, your skill data, your defenses, your faction information, and more. This kind of a sheet is extremely important for any role-playing game. I don't understand what Bethesda was smoking when they decided not to have a character screen. Complete and utter madness. Honorable mentions goes to experience and static skill leveling. Static skill leveling is interesting, where after leveling up each time, you put points into the skills you want to increase. That way you're in control of how your character levels up. I did not install these mods as I quite enjoy the improve as you do system of Elder Scrolls games, but it may suit certain playstyles and roles. Do go to the description and see if these mods work for you. Skyrim has such a wonderful and dynamic game world. As you walk around, you observe all sorts of animals, creatures, and NPCs going about their lives. It's such a lived-in world with all sorts of events happening around you, the player. How do we amp up this dynamism to even higher levels? With mods, of course. This mod is fairly extensive even though it is simple in its execution. You see, Skyrim has this wonderful random encounter system where events can occur as you explore Skyrim. Some events force your involvement, others need you to make the first move, or they will just pass by. There are around 149 spawn points all over the map where you may encounter random events, and there are more than 100 random encounters in the base game. This mod simply adds 100 more unique encounters to that list. That's it. In my testing, with 3 characters across multiple playthroughs, I have encountered so many unique random encounters added by this mod. And many of them come with voiced NPCs. We have all seen the vanilla events hundreds of times, so this adds something new. Do note that this mod does not remove those vanilla encounters, just adds to the list. You will have encounters in the wilderness, in the road, in settlements. You see faction members out in the wild. It's fantastic. Also, this mod adds some quests and a custom follower as extras. Next, we have extended encounters. This is similar to the previous mod, but it behaves differently. Here you will see NPCs from the game taking a break from their schedule, hitting the road, which will result in an encounter with the player. You will see common NPCs like Feindal or Sybil Stendar or anyone else doing their thing. I did read the FAQ and these 2 answers clear my concerns. You can pause the screen and read it. Unmarked Locations Pack. This mod adds 50 new unmarked locations with loot, unique interactions, and encounters. Something like what Fallout New Vegas did with unmarked quests. This mod adds a lot to the game world and you find strange, mysterious stuff in the wild. Sky Shards. This mod adds objects in random locations in the game world. These objects are called Sky Shards and they contain a magical essence that can be absorbed. After 3 Sky Shards are absorbed, you will gain 1 perk point which is configurable. This mod aids exploration. You get a quest with subtle hints on locations for every county in Skyrim, and you can try to zero in on the location to find the Sky Shard. I love it. It adds to the exploration and getting a perk point is a nice bonus. Leaps of Faith. This mod is created by another rockstar modder, Jsapa. We'll be talking about his mods later on too. Essentially, it adds a fun activity for your character to do in the world. 12 epic leaps of faith across Skyrim for you to discover. Find these 12 locations and then will you take the leap of faith? SSE Organic Factions and Extension. If all the other mods in this section added a lot to the world of Skyrim, this mod absolutely amps up the dynamism to stratospheric levels. This one was created by Ethereal Coder, a wonderful creative and technical genius. It is one of the more impressive mods in the list. This mod adds more than 10 new organic factions to the world of Skyrim. What is an organic faction, you might ask? Organic factions are factions that grow and have their own objectives, independent of what the player does. Every region has its own unique organic faction that has their own objective and opposing groups. You will encounter some of the patrols on the road too. These organic factions can become extremely powerful if left alone. You will encounter higher level enemies in multiple regions of the map. This totally reminds me of Fallout New Vegas, where certain areas like the Quarry were out of reach for new players with death laws all around. In my testing of this mod, I found a Lost Valley Forsworn faction that gets more powerful over time. They use new types of troops, use tactics and ambushes, and by the time you reach level 7, they start assaulting Makath with high-level stealth archers, a commander, a giant, and a war mammoth. Their objective is to take over Makath, so they slaughter all the guards. They leave the civilians alone, which is interesting and lore-friendly, as we know that the Rishmen ruled Makath for many years before the game starts. If they want to rule Makath again, they can't wantonly kill civilians. So as you can see, this faction is actually working towards a goal. And they're just not mindless terrorists or enemies. When I tested this mod, I just could not get into Makath city as they have female Forsworn stealth archers that can one-shot you. I had to use interesting strategies to take those archers down using my weak poison spells. Then, once those archers were down, it was easy to dodge the level 50 giant and mammoth and enter the city. With some patience, they can be taken out too. The cool part about this is you get some amazing loot if you can take down their patrols or their assault groups. I did read that this siege of Makath will continue after about 20 or 30 days with a new set of NPCs. I also encountered an organic faction related to the Civil War. I saw high-level Stormcloak soldiers raiding the Reach and Huffingar counties. In my limited testing, I encountered only 2 factions and absolutely enjoyed the dynamism of these organic factions. It's an amazing feeling to see that the player is not the center of the game world anymore with this mod. Skyrim feels truly alive. For those of you who are debating on installing this mod, I will say this. If you want more focus and less chaos, then this mod is not for you. But if you want some serious unpredictability, jeopardy, and enjoy observing a changing world, then I would highly recommend it. The Old Ways, Nordic religion. The Nords have a rich religious history. Unfortunately, Skyrim has largely discarded the Nordic totem gods in favor of the Imperial Pantheon. These Nordic totem gods were described in texts such as Varieties of Faith in the Empire and Michael Kirkbride's The Nords Totemic Religion. This mod adds shrines of the Nordic totem gods Alduin, Dibella, Junal, Kain, Mara, Orke, Shor, Stun, and Sun. These mods replace shrines in the wilderness locations and also create some new shrines. More lore-friendly content, I love it. The Great Town series. Bethesda did not put much effort into the many historic settlements of Skyrim. Some of these settlements are Dragonbridge, Rorikstead, Ivarstead, Kathwarston, Shorestone, Kynes Grove, Old Hroldan, and more. The Great Town series of mods overhauls these tiny settlements into lore-friendly versions. For example, the town of Kathwarston uses a new custom-made building set for the Reach, which is inspired by Breton architecture, and it really looks stunning. The town of Ivarstead adds a new Hall of Kain. Here, the priests and monks follow the old ways of the Nordic totem god of Kain instead of Kinnereth. The town of Old Hroldan adds a statue of Tiber Septim, as the Old Hroldan Inn is at the site of an ancient battleground where Tiber Septim defeated an army of Rishmen by shouting its walls. I love these sets of mods. I would encourage you to visit all of these towns and see the astounding creativity and focus on the lore by the mod author. Elder Scrolls Arena Towns. Take a look at this map of the first Elder Scrolls game, Arena. This is the map of Skyrim in the 3rd era. Look at the density of towns here. Compare this to the settlement map of Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, and you clearly see the difference. The western part of Skyrim in Elder Scrolls V has only a handful of towns and cities. Where are all these settlements in Skyrim? Newgrad, Leinalton, Ambergard, Snowhawk, Granite Hill, Dunparwall, etc. Bethesda just got rid of them for no apparent reason. But there is one incredibly talented and creative mod author, Schlitzor, who has been adding many of these settlements from the Elder Scrolls arena. Let's take a look at the town of Ambergard. Incredible creativity can be seen everywhere in Ambergard. Homes, businesses, mines, farms, small corners to sit on a bench and take in the views. Ambergard has it all. On top of that, all the above structures are built along the face of the mountain. You have meandering stairs and pathways right up to the Kath River. It's an absolutely stunning settlement that I always enjoy visiting. I will let you explore other settlements too and see for yourself. I've added all of the arena towns in my mod list, and whenever I walk and explore Skyrim and I find a town, it's an incredible feeling. Skyrim feels more lived in. I love it. The Great City of Winterhold SSE Edition. So it turns out that Winterhold was once an epic city but was destroyed by a massive event known as the Great Collapse. An endless storm battered the cliffs upon which Winterhold stood. That is, until the cliffs gave away and most of the city fell to the sea. All we see in vanilla Skyrim is a village and few destroyed buildings. But this mod not only makes Winterhold feel like it was an actual city, but dramatically enhances its atmosphere. There is now a palpable sense of sadness that permeates throughout the once proud city. Ruin Coins, a lore-friendly mod that adds ancient coins in Nordic ruins, Dwemer ruins and Iliad ruins. You can exchange them for a pittance, which ensures that players can't get rich looting dungeons. Honorable mentions go to mod authors who are creating settlements in and around Skyrim. Access 1211 has many mods in the Thaindom and Hamlet series. Skyking 2020 also has added a few arena towns, Markarth Side and Granite Hill. If you install the arena towns by Schlitzor, be careful to check if other settlement mods don't conflict with them. This is the end of part 1 of the Skyrim 2024 modding guide. The mods we installed today will dramatically aid role-playing, enhance the dynamism of the world, and add lore-friendly additions to Skyrim. In part 2, and maybe even a part 3, we'll talk about enhancing magic, changing the College of Winterhold, increasing immersion, adding better visuals and changing the environments. We'll talk about clothing and armors, and NPC faces. Then we will discuss mapping and user interface, and add some quality new quests. Finally, we'll also talk about generating lords using Dynalord and TextGen, which are important if you are installing all of these mods. So thank you so much for watching, and consider smashing that like button if this video was remotely useful or entertaining. May the divines watch over you.